Welcome to the first annual Qualico Mixed Doubles Classic, brought to you from the Bow Valley in beautiful Alberta, Canada. Our host venues are the Banff Curling Club in the iconic Banff National Park and the Canmore Golf and Curling Club in the gateway to the Canadian Rockies. The event is proudly sponsored by Qualico. We create what we believe in. The Malcolm. Experience Canmore's crown jewel. Vision Electronics. Your best price. And Bow Valley Credit Union. Growing together. The Qualico Mixed Doubles Classic. Up next. Welcome. We are now back at the lounge in the Banff Curling Club in beautiful Banff, Alberta. We're about to meet the teams. We'll be playing in one of our semifinal games. This is our feature match. It's Peterman and Gallant against Schmiemann and Ginter. You could almost say David and Goliath. And the other semifinal that we'll be keeping an eye on is Curry and Hodgson playing against the defending mixed doubles champions from the United States, Anderson and Dropkin. We've got two great color commentary people coming your way to give you this game. Lowell Peterman is the head ice maker and manager at the Innisfail Curling Club, and Matt Guy, who is with us this morning, the 2016 U.S. National Mixed Doubles Champion, will also be with him on the mic. Gentlemen, take it away.
Everyone, well, good afternoon rather. How are you doing today, Lowell?
I'm doing good.
Ready for some curling?
Sure are.
All right, well, it's just in time. Thanks everyone for tuning in wherever you are in the world. Feel free to let us know where you're tuning in from. It's one of the beauties of web streaming is that we had someone from Mexico watching earlier today. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. That's great.
Absolutely fascinating. So wherever you're at, just let us know, and we're so happy that you're here with us today. So we got a real barn burner of a match. We got Peterman Gallant versus Schmiemann Ginter. So far, looks like we're just waiting to finish up the draws to the button over on the other sheets, and I think we're going to be off to the races here in a second. Gallant Peterman start out with the hammer, which means Schmiemann Ginter are going to begin. So we've got Brett Gallant and Josh Peterman, who obviously don't really need much of an introduction if you're a curling fan. If you're not a curling fan, they're quite good.
Yeah, they're a decent team.
And then we have Schmiemann Ginter, who are some young folks from U of A, Go Bears, and they're they've been playing well all weekend, and we're gonna have two really great games. We'll be checking in on the Anderson Dropkin game or the Anderson Dropkin and Kerry Hodgson. Jesus, it's been a long week, folks. I'm on Bonspiel time, so we'll be popping in throughout the game. You can see it over to the left corner. I'll be doing some, actually what I was doing the other day, or earlier, Lowell, is I was doing the old radio thing where I talk about the clock positions. So if we need to do that, we will.
Okay. Well, we're off and running on our sheet. Danielle Schmiemann throwing the first rock.
Outturned, looking good. Ginter just giving her a little massage down the ice. Looks pretty close. And
he's on it now. It looks like this ice has got really good finish, so they hang out for quite a while and then they take a real break in. And so it's
that is going to finish up. That's a really good spot for that. You want to, especially for early in the end, you always want to leave those rocks a little bit higher. Depending on the situation, a lot of times people like to come back down to that back one, but once the rock's behind the tee line, that's as good as it can be.
Exactly, yeah. So Jocelyn's trying the intern come around now. She'll try to get a little bit better than that yellow rock and get top four.
Yeah, all right. So, sorry. Here you are. All right. Being spirited away, riding off on his chariot. And if only we could find somebody, if there was only somebody that would be an expert on one of these teams that could fill us in. But hey, Tristan, how are you, bud?
Hey, really good, really good.
Yeah?
Listen, everybody, when you get knocked out of a spiel, you kind of become what like the proper term is, like the whipping boy, like the sidekick, kind of the lackey who sort of does all the odd jobs for the teams that are, your friends and family that are still hanging in the event. So my name is Tristan Stanky. My fiance is Danielle Schmiemann. My teammate is Jason Ginter. We were all staying at the same spot. I had to go back to the hotel, clean up some stuff. Jason left a whole bunch of stuff there, so he needed to. I need to pack all that up and just, clean up for these guys. But it's all right. If I wanted to not be doing those jobs, I should have made a few more shots these last few days, and maybe I'll be out there playing and they'd be cleaning up after me. But that's how it goes. Anyways, that's why I missed the first couple shots here. It's all Jay's fault. He left a bunch of stuff there that I had to clean up. But
can't believe it.
Yeah.
So we have, you've really missed a couple, just 3 shots, which is good. And that's actually a real nice shot by Jay, to be honest. That's a peach, as we talked about. And so, to pull the curtain back here, Tristan has a bit of a vested interest in this game. He is engaged to, what's your?
Danielle
Schmiemann, and he is also a teammate of Jason. Jason. Yep. And then, and you are all U of A students?
Yes, Danielle's a recent grad. Recent grad, but a former Panda. Jason's also in a master's program at the U of A. We both ran out of eligibility last year, but we're both still going to school at the U of A.
So I was going to ask you this question. So you're panda bears, is that right?
So the women are the pandas and the men are the golden bears.
I see, because I was going to ask what kind of bears those were.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I guess a panda is considered a more feminine bear than just a regular golden bear, so that's why the pandas are the women, I guess. I'm not sure.
That makes about as much sense as anything else. Yeah. But I just was thinking about, I wonder how many panda bears there are in Alberta, especially northern Alberta.
Probably.
Have you ever seen a panda bear in Edmonton?
I can't say I have.
Not one.
Not a single one.
You ever seen a grizzly bear?
In Edmonton?
Yes.
In the city? No. Can't say.
How about a brown bear?
A brown bear? No.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. No grizzly bears in Edmonton. Which is probably a good thing.
Probably a good thing.
So, anyways, back to the curling action. So, a little bit of a rearrange here. Jay's got to try a little hit and roll. Actually, looks like probably throwing a double here, yeah?
Yeah, looks like it. He's pretty close. Running a little straight. Might be a little closer nose than he'd like here.
A little roll. It's not nothing.
Yeah, I would have liked a little bit more roll, at least to get an angle onto that back one, but he removed a stone. Yes. Absolutely.
Well, that's it's
something.
And again, like you talked about, there's good angles on both of the top yellows, or at least on the top yellows onto the blue. So, and like we said earlier, it's a game of just socking a lot of rocks in there, and then at some point somebody makes a bunch of them go away. So
we were talking a lot in the quarterfinal this morning about how it's so much play to the middle. It's all just about working those angles in the forefoot, the nature of the game, not just the setup, but also the fact that you can't throw any hits until the fourth rock at the end. Just creates the conditions for a lot of rocks in play, a lot of angles, which is kind of good. It's sort of the point of it. We want to see a lot of angles, a lot of discussion, lots of rocks in play to create some opportunities. Just a more kind of intriguing game for not only the fans but also the players.
Absolutely, and that's a really good shot right there by Gallant. It just kind of pushes that one back. Still keeps those rocks around. This is our semifinal match. The winner goes to the final. We're $10,000 up for grabs for the first prize, $5,000 for the runner-up. However, everyone playing presently is going to walk away with $2,000 Canadian cash. So, those aren't Canadian Tire dollars. That's real Canadian currency, pals. So, although, you know what? I'd be kind of jacked if I had like 2,000 Canadian Tire dollars. Could you imagine?
What do you think you could buy with that, Matt?
Probably a grill. I think you could get a grill.
Probably. Hey, I don't know exactly what the exchange rate is over there. I'm not quite well versed in the Canadian Tire money. Oh, this is a little.
that one sailed a little bit. You know what? I think that spot's a little straight.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean,
Looks like Jason set that one out a little bit. Well, you know, we had seen a few, even last game, right on that 4-foot line, you set it out a little bit with big weight, and it seems to run a bit, right?
And, I mean, we are getting to the point in the weekend where if you're not familiar with most modern curling events nowadays, they will scratch the rocks prior to the event, which gets lots of curl. But as the more games you play, the straighter the rocks get. And so could be also a case of getting caught a little off guard by the running surfaces of the rocks smoothing up a little bit.
Yeah, you see that in most events on arena ice and on arenas for sure. But I mean, Darren Molding and his ice crew have got some excellent curl out here, even in this club. The smoothing out, the straightening out of the rocks, I mean, usually shows up on hits first, right?
Absolutely.
Because the break point just happens later and later, as you throw more weight on the shot. The draw, curl is still very comparable, as we can see. They got the broom out, actually just outside the edge of the 12-foot here. So still tons of curl on the draws, but I think you're right, it might just be straightening up a little bit on the hits.
And that's not to say that it's not curling, because the broom's still in the 12-foot. So there's plenty of curl, and that's the name of the game. But
yeah, lots of players, if you could have it both ways, they would prefer actually, lots of curl in the draws and then a little bit straighter on the hits. A little straighter on the hits, a little bit easier to be precise, have a little bit less curl to worry about, to try to broom for. So, kind of the best of both worlds with these conditions here.
And speaking of curl, what a pistol by Brett Gallant right there. That is exactly how you come around and make that. Like, Peterman, Gallant are in a pretty good situation right now. However, here's the thing. If they can make this come around, the good thing is they just watched him make it. Yep. So we'll see if they can go ahead and replicate that. So.
Yeah, like a couple options here. I think ideally she, Danielle comes right around and sits right on the face. I think might be a little bit ambitious to try to get shot rock, but if you could get a good chunk frozen, then I think you got a good chance to at least force them to make a tough tap for two.
Absolutely, and really giving up a steal of one in the first end's not terrible.
Yeah, for sure. I'll do a. No, I came late, so I don't know. But do Peterman and Gallant not have the hammer, or?
No, Peterman and Gallant have the hammer.
They do have the hammer.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So, and I mean, another option is if it's coming up a little bit light, then you freeze the top one, and then Jocelyn's going to have to make a tough tap for her third point, right on the left there, right? So,
yep. This is really about just limiting the damage, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We talked a lot last game about how you shrink down the scoring area, and this is an excellent example. Ooh, Jay's giving it a scrub.
This is really good line coming in.
Oh, that looks like a lot.
That's a hell of a...
That's a peach.
That's my girl.
Look at that. What a shot.
I think, what do we think? You think she got shot rock?
Oh, boy, I don't think so.
No?
No. Oh, boy. No, she might. No, she might.
Have.
I think she does. What a shot.
Wow.
Marry that girl.
I'm on it.
All right. So, Tristan, I was doing some research on you while you were gone.
Boy.
And by research, I mean I creeped your Facebook page for half a second.
I saw the friend request.
Yeah, and that's right. And you were born in, you're from Dawson's Creek, huh?
Yeah, me and Jay both, we both grew up in Dawson Creek, BC. We've been playing together for quite a while, since we were around 10 years old, actually, hailing from Dawson Creek. Yep.
Wow. Do you guys know James Vanderbeek?
James Vanderbeek. You know what? I recognize the name. Why, you got some relatives or some friends over there?
No, but that was the main actor from the popular television show.
Okay, then I don't. It's not Dawson's Creek. It's just Dawson Creek. That's probably why I remember the name.
No, actually, I was just giving you a hard time.
It's all right. Okay, so we just got past a note. We're going to do a little shout out to those fans watching from Russia.
Fantastic. Welcome. Spasibo.
I don't know any Russian, but it's, hello, greetings to the Russians.
So I spent 2 weeks in, let me think about that. Yeah, I spent 2 weeks in Russia. I was fortunate to win the Mixed National Championship a couple years ago. Ooh, Josh Peterman's got a real good shot here. How are we going to do? Ooh. Oh, is that any good?
Wow.
Look at that.
Just a great two final shots to finish that end off. Danielle makes a pistol to get it in there and force Jocelyn to make another, what do you call that, like a double slash to score two?
Yeah, the old double slash for two.
The old double slash to score two. So great shot. Peterman and Gallant up 2-0 after one end of play.
And that's the, you know what? And that's the beauty of mixed doubles curling right there.
Yep. And I mean, like, so a 2-point lead, I think in a regular fours game, you know, that might be a little demoralizing for the team giving it up because, those twos, 5-rock rule, you see them a little bit more often, but a 2-point lead is, you do have control of the game. If you feel like if you play really well from there on out, you're going to be in good shape. But so many opportunities in this mixed doubles game. Danielle and Jay are going to have, lots of opportunities to get that two back. So certainly, it's still certainly anybody's game.
Oh, absolutely. And, especially with everyone is fortunately for the crowd and those of you watching at home, looks like both teams came to play today.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, Jay and Danielle had a great first game this morning against the Norwegians. I believe they were Olympic medalists. I can't remember.
Bronze medalists.
Yeah. Right? So that's solid. And then, they're playing against Brett and Jocelyn here, who beat Laws and Morris, the Olympic gold medalists, right? So.
And are themselves accomplished curlers in the four-person game.
Pretty darn good too, right? You got Gallant, he's been won, back-to-back Briars with the Gushu team. Jocelyn won, one of Scotty's with Chelsea Carey a few years back on the Jones team, so very successful. And I think they also have some success as a mixed doubles pairing too. I believe that they won the Canadian Mixed Nationals Championship
2 years ago?
A couple years ago, yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah, for sure. So
good team, fine folks.
Right.
Good.
Another shout out coming up here. Terry and Sandy Peterman watching from sunny Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, well done.
Wow, so we've got a pretty good cell here. Last in the quarters we had a shout out to someone watching from Mexico, and then as well as people from the States. So this is a pretty good reach.
Absolutely.
We must be doing something right now.
Curling, it's for the people. It's for the masses.
Yeah.
And so we were talking last game, and especially if you give up a deuce, that I tell you, Joss Peterman, 2 pistols right in a row. You make that double, and then the first shot, you just weld that right on the back one.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a lot earlier about shrinking down the scoring area, and especially if you're the team that does not have the hammer, that's point of order.
Absolutely, yeah. For some people who aren't as familiar with mixed doubles, so the first player, often the woman, throws the first and the last rock, and for some, it might seem like it's a bit hard to kind of get in a rhythm, but if you think of it as you throw the last rock of the previous end, then you go and throw the first rock of the next end. That's sort of like your pair that you'd throw in a normal game, right? So that's the way I've heard it conceptualized, to kind of be able to get in the rhythm you normally do in a regular game. And you can see Jocelyn obviously she made a pistol to grab 2, and then she makes another one to start this end off.
And then Brent's just slid a hair heavy here. They look a little bit bamboozled. I will say that I think and this is just a conjecture, obviously, and I think that it might be just straightening up a hair. And I mean, just like a skinny hair, like not one of those big thick ones, but just like a very fine, delicate hair. And you know what? Like the less horizontal movement, would that be the pitch? Less horizontal movement, let's make it a little bit faster, you know what I mean? Like just less curling sideways, more, forward. So Jeff plays lots and lots, right? So, for him to get kind of bamboozled on that, I think that might be a little
changing, right? Yeah, absolutely. You don't usually see, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and when he does, it's often more, it's about getting fooled rather than, maybe anything that he was trying to do from execution standpoint. I mean, everybody misses for sure, but I would agree. I think, as we said, the rocks straighten up as we go, so that makes sense. And I mean, this one's even hanging a little bit for Jay too, as this is coming in.
Oh boy.
Needs to come down.
Just needs to catch. Ooh, little bounce. That's
pretty good. Would have loved it maybe just a foot higher, or just an extra, 3 to 6 inches more curl. Not bad, especially seeing as you know, if it is straightening up a little bit, you know, coming down and following that isn't very easy, right?
No, and here's, you know, the thing is that you know, when people talk about the thin margins in curling, here's the thing: if that rock stops 6 inches sooner, that's just perfect, right? Like, just absolutely great. But a little click and a little roll, and it's.
Yeah, it just gives the other guy a little bit more of an opportunity to come down and move it. So we're going to do a quick update over here on sheet 2, the other semifinal going on. It's Dropkin and Anderson from the United States playing against Chelsea Carey and Colin Hodgson. It looks as though, I want to get this right, it looks as though Carey and Hodgson took one in the first end. So they're up 1-0. We got, we're about halfway through the second end. The Americans have one on the lid, and they're going to draw another one on there. So, you know, perhaps going to, you know, maybe grab 1 or 2 back to take a lead there. So, tight game over in the other semi as well.
Absolutely. And then back to our feature sheet, Brett Gallant just showing right exactly why the little bounce and click is not ideal, because he just comes right down to that, nudges that a little bit back, and now Peterman and Gallant are really in a power position. You know, Schmiemann, Ginter are going to be digging for the remainder of the end.
Sure, yeah. You know, you saw Gallant. He makes a small mistake on his first one, right? You don't want to give a player like him another opportunity at a similar shot, right? Because, you know, he's players like him are going to make that adjustment, right? So he made no mistake, and now what's Jason going to do here? Looks like he's throwing some weight. Probably just going to try to spill. Just going to try to spill the top 2. Maybe get really lucky and catch the back one. That'd be quite thin.
Yeah, if you hit that real thin,
a little tight early on.
Oh, he's going.
Caught the guard.
That's all right. That's the charity.
That's a Ginter for sure.
That's the charity roll right there.
Tick the guard. You know, Jason's got one of those in him every once in a while. Get the tick, and then something good happens in the house. He was looking like an overcurl there, but hey, you'll take your breaks when you get them, hey?
That's when you look at your teammate and go, just the way we drew it up.
Yeah, exactly. That's way better than what we called. Actually, she's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know if he'd have had to hit it pretty thin in order to stick that one right where he did.
Yeah.
So, you know, good angle.
Honestly, that's a real good result, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, good break for sure.
So, Brett Gallant, I'm just gonna say, you know what? That's a-okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and sock another one into the center, and you can see they've taken a couple inches less ice, so they've definitely
trying to adjust to that extra, you know, a little bit straighter. No, I'm trying to see, like, it seems like the break point is pretty similar. It just might not quite be breaking quite as hard as normal. You don't, as you were saying, you don't see that sideways movement at the end that we were seeing maybe earlier on in the week, even last night in the playoff round.
Yeah, more of a parabolic curl.
That's good. I'm not 100% on my shapes these days, but that.
I'm just making up words. I'm just making up words.
I'll take your word for it. That was a pistol.
I mean, yeah, that's. So this is, again, we talked the other day. This is what being in jail.
Yeah.
This is what being in jail is like.
Yeah, Jason's gonna have to fight and scrap to get out of this. I think the best he can do here, best he can hope for, is hit what you can see of the yellow, you know, run it straight into the, you know, the part between the two blues, and try to just get every rock moving, just to try to give Danielle a little bit of breathing room for her last shot.
The more rocks you can move in this scenario, the better.
Yeah. Jason might give this one a little bit extra. I could see this might have a little vapor trail behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. I should, if I had to think about it, I got the stopwatch out, but I'm not going to fumble. But here it comes.
It's a good kick.
It's a pistol. Woo, here it comes.
Threw it hard enough. Threw it hard enough. Weight is no.
Oh, now you got to sweep it though. You got to sweep that.
He's close. He gets by. I think he's close.
Look at that. Oh, that's a little unlucky.
Yeah. Pretty close there.
That's a little unlucky, but still much better.
It is, yeah. Like, you know, just a slight over curl. If it just curls up a hair less, then we make contact on the blues and probably get both of them moving. Got a few stragglers now. Unlikely they're going to come into play, but you know, just cleared out a few rocks. Danielle has a little bit more space on her next one. She's got both angles to the button, or to at least the top of the button right now. Jocelyn makes a really good one here, top button. Danielle's going to have to probably play like, kind of a back house weight tap, maybe spill one or two of the rocks out of the forefoot. Looking like it's going to be a tough score for Jay and Danielle right now.
Absolutely. Well, and like as the middle rock thrower, you just want to give your last rock thrower something to look at for their last one. So, like, there's no worse feeling than having your last rock thrower going, I've got nothing here. Like, come on, man.
I know the feeling too well. I was playing this event with Kelsey Rock. If she's listening, which she's probably not, because she's probably had quite enough of hearing me talk over the last few days. But yeah, there's a few times for sure. Like I didn't quite make enough shots, and she goes to throw her last one, and it's looking pretty bleak. And what do you say? What do you say to your partner? Do you say sorry?
Sorry.
Yeah, I guess so.
Sorry about that.
I guess so. They get tired of you apologizing after a while.
I know, yeah, absolutely. So fun fact, I actually was in Flim, Switzerland to watch her win the World Juniors.
Oh, really? So that would have been back in 2014. Okay.
Absolutely.
I believe that would have been slight.
Oh, we have an opening.
Yes, slight, just slightly heavy or slight under curl too. Weight was probably good if she gets the curl she's looking for, but
they're still just struggling a little bit.
A little straight there.
And here's the thing, folks. These are the best curlers in the world. So if they can get bamboozled, so can you. And by the way, that's my word for the game. So every time you hear me say bamboozled, take a drink.
Yeah, it's what is it? 12:30 here in Banff, so 5 o'clock over in maybe Newfoundland. Is it 5 o'clock in Newfoundland yet?
5:30.
5:30 in Newfoundland. Okay, so.
I mean, let's be honest. You're probably drinking anyways.
Yeah, it's Sunday, right? So whatever.
Having a Caesar. Have a Caesar.
So you said you were in Switzerland, so that would have been the year, I think, prior to when Danielle played with Kelsey.
Okay.
I think Kelsey won a couple World Championships. The second one, Danielle was her third. I believe they went to Estonia for that.
Yeah, Tallinn.
For that championship.
Absolutely. And Danielle's got the draw. She's taken the in-turn. That's the best route to the button here, and they look like they like it. Oh, boy, Jay, you got to get going. I feel like he might have waited a hair too long on that. He's really got to go.
This almost looked like it picked the way that it came in there.
I know.
Working it.
Oh, he still might get it. Oh, is that ever?
What a sweep. What a shot.
I'll tell you what, I think something might have been clenched for a second there.
That was really making its move on its way in.
I was real worried for the sake of your good buddy and future wife.
That was definitely. I think that in-turn is definitely curling a little bit more than out-turn coming in. We definitely we saw a bunch of out-turns thrown on that left side, and nothing finished like that one did. I think that kind of caught them a bit by surprise.
Absolutely.
She had plenty of weight coming in. She clicked off. She probably had back 4, back 8 weight coming in, and
which is what you got to throw.
In the end, that's what she needed to throw, and it still would have curled well across the center line. So that's okay. So a little bit of some ice conditions to figure out here. I think if whichever team can figure them out sooner is going to have a bit of an advantage.
And that's always something to keep in mind with curling. This is a living surface. It changes every second, changes every rock, and if it was easy, it'd be called hockey.
Exactly. What did you say yesterday? If you want to do something easy, you play hockey. You want to, have a challenge, then go be a mixed doubles curler.
Yep. Be brave. Curl.
I like it.
So, likes the out-turn. He just threw it. Why not?
Yeah, why not, right? Similar path to her last one, like you say. So she just threw a draw, gets to throw one right after on a similar path. This one's hanging out a little bit more.
Oh, no.
Just a little heavy. A little heavy there. It's actually probably similar weight to what she threw on a previous rock. She just didn't have the wall of rocks to stop it on that one.
You know what? Honestly, maybe those rocks are a little different.
Could be. If she, I guess there's a chance that she would have thrown a different rock than she threw on her previous one.
Yeah, and I mean, most of the time, there's actually people wonder how much rocks matter, and there are slight differences to each one, and to be honest, I mean, this is it's a game of millimeters.
Well, and it's an interesting point too about mixed doubles. So like you only throw 5 rocks, right? So you talked earlier about how as it goes on, as the rocks get thrown more and more, they smooth out. Well, not every rock is getting thrown in every mixed doubles game, and you don't necessarily know which 3 rocks the other teams aren't throwing. So you could have a rock that has 5 games on it. You could have a rock that has 2 games on it, and that's likely going to lead to a bit of a difference in the amount of curl that that they have.
And especially once you get towards the championship rounds, that becomes more and more prevalent. Now I believe that the winners of both of these games get to pick their rocks.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I think that once there's only one game going on, there's not games going on other sheets, and you have sort of the choice of rocks from I think anywhere in this club. I don't think they would take any more from Canmore. I guess if you really like to set in Canmore, they could load them up and take them over. But I'm thinking the winners here are going to be nice and just pick ones in this club.
Most likely. And here's the thing, I'll say that the volunteers at this event have been so amazing and so accommodating. They'd probably do it if they were asked, but I bet you they're not.
Like I say, I think they will probably just stick with the rocks in this club. Some weird stuff can sometimes happen when you see rocks move from sheet to sheet, but certainly club to club. Yeah, but absolutely, the volunteers have been awesome. All the players have raved about how well this event has been run, how friendly the volunteers are, how great the ice is.
And the views aren't half bad either. And speaking of views, Jay just threw a real good shot. That improves their position dramatically. They got some real good angles going on, and it looks like Brent's just going to try to get that button locked down.
Yeah, give himself a good angle. You look and you see, 2 rocks in the 4 foot for blue, and and that's great for now. But they're behind the tee line, and like you say, Jay's got an angle to tap them out here. So still lots of end to be played. There's going to be lots of sort of jockeying for position over the next few rocks to try to create the best angles.
Absolutely, and a little heavy.
A little heavy with a slight under curl.
So this is one of the here's a little inside curling thing is there's some times where, if that rock curls up another half rock, that is so good. That is the best shot they could have thrown. 5 out of 5. That under curled, and holy smokes, are they in trouble?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's just sort of the nature in mixed doubles. You're always trying to chuck it into the 4 foot, and top 4 is great, back button is not great, top 8 is terrible, and back 8 is also not great. So you don't have the margins that you maybe would normally have in some forced curling, and you also don't have the 2 sweepers judging and carrying the rock as much.
Absolutely.
Right?
And it looks like Jay's going to see how many he can make disappear. I think he's a little wide. He's going to get it. Oh, no, he's all right. Actually, no, he's pretty good.
Moving.
Oh, is that any good?
Shot.
I thought that might have jammed on the back, but
I suppose I should try to be a little bit unbiased, but I might clap for the odd shot by my buddy or my lady. Sorry for everybody. If you were looking for a really neutral set of commentators, then you're gonna have to rely on Matt for that.
I don't. You know what? I just think that no, it's good. You know what? Everyone likes to see good shots, so that certainly was one. So, in case you're just joining us, in case you were out doing something on a Sunday, my name's Matt Guy, 2016 U.S. Mixed Champ, and just a pretty nice guy all around.
My name's Tristan Stanky. I play third for Team Carson Sturmey, and I'm part of the University Canadian Championship team from last season with the U of A Golden Bears.
And we both were playing in this event with our respective mixed doubles partners, and we can attest firsthand to the quality of this event. And we're just sitting here yakking about curling. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, conspiracy theories, suggestions, we'd certainly take them. And we hope you guys are enjoying the commentary.
Absolutely. Going to give a quick update over on sheet 2 in the second end. What happened over there? In the second end, well, we're trying to see the scoreboard, but Dropkin and Anderson are kind of standing in front of it. What do we see?
Haji just threw a hard one. Looks like they took 2 in the second.
Took 2 in the second
so
end.
2-1. Anderson Dropkin leading Carey Hodgson.
And there's
Hodgie just got a little narrow on appeal.
a little narrow on appeal. 3 blues in play. They're kind of setting up a bit of a wall. So looking like a potential force for yellow, or I guess 1 point score for yellow, unless a really nice freeze is made. That's what's going on. So it's 2-1 for Dropkin and Anderson without the hammer against Carey and Hodgson over on sheet 2 in the other semi.
Back to the action over on our sheet. Jay just going ahead, and Brett parked 1 back 4. Jay parked 1 side 4. Now Peterman Gallant discussing the hit and roll to the button. Kind of an interesting setup. Interesting setup for these rock placements. Again, you can make an argument that both teams are in a fairly good position, although I would say that it's a little precarious for blue at the moment.
It's interesting. It's a good opportunity for Gallant because the easiest way to just get one into top button would be just to draw it in there, right? But if you go a little bit deep, and then Jason has something to come off of with with that rock side 4. So the best option is to play a tap kind of shot. So push that yellow back, get the roll in that way, and then Jason doesn't have as much of a route in there, but it's a harder shot. You're dealing with a little bit more weight. Your line has to be, very true. It's easy to, get caught a little narrow and overroll a little bit. But it looks like Gallant's made
That's
a pretty
real
good
nice. Ooh, boy.
Really nice weight control
Nice,
there.
quiet weight. That's probably hack.
Yeah, I'd say, just that hack weight.
And if you're a little newer to curling and you haven't, and you hear us say hack or board or normal, and what does that mean? Those are just hit weights. So the rock curls as it decelerates. That's why we call it curling. And the harder you throw it, the less it moves. So when we say hack, we mean they're trying to throw it to the hack at the other end. Same.
The lightest kind of hit weight that you normally see.
Absolutely. And then you've got board weight. From there, you've got control weight, which most teams are 10.5 between hog to hog. Normals 9.5, firms 8.5, and then peels 7 and below.
Yeah, about that, right? Everyone kind of has their own, I guess, names for the weight units, but the idea is that you want to kind of have every second or so up or down from weight, you kind of want to have a name for it because. And you practice throwing those weights, and it just allows you to be a little bit more precise with your hits.
And that's a tough one. Just a little heavy. Danielle Schmiemann?
Schmiemann, you got it.
Schmiemann. Danielle Schmiemann comes a little heavy. And that's a real unfortunate one because Joss is probably going to lock this puppy down.
Open draw to the 4 foot for 3.
For a tray.
She was ever a little bit heavy, and they swept it. They could come to the back one too. You don't want to worry about playing that. You come in with a little bit big weight and chip off your own. I think there's a chance to roll out. So I think you probably just play this one the straight draw to T line or back T. That probably gives you the best chance to make this one.
Absolutely. That's actually kind of the worst part about that one is not only do you miss the shot, you give them a backstop as well.
A little bit, yeah. I think it'd be one of those where they'd probably have to call the plan B, halfway down or so in order to get to the back one.
Totally.
As opposed to chipping off of their own. But you do have a little bit more margin here because of that one.
It's looking pretty good.
We're not tight.
No, they're going to need it. They're going to need it.
It's time.
Oh, they're going to need every little bit of that. Oh,
use it. Yeah.
There you go.
Nice shot. Jocelyn's really playing well.
Yes. To get to this point in the weekend, you're playing pretty well, and she makes no mistake on that one.
All right, so that'll be
3-banger.
Okay, so we're back here playing the third end. As we said, Peterman and Gallant took 3 in the third end to go up 5-1. We're playing the fourth end. Took 3 in the third end to go up 5-1. So Jocelyn's going to start off trying to make this very all-important freeze. Quick update over on sheet 2. Carrion Hodgson took 2 back in the third end to go up 3-2. So nice tight game over there. Been a lead change each end. So they'll just be starting that one off. And Jocelyn is crushing it right now. She just made, I really don't think she's missed. She's had excellent draw weight. She's had excellent draw weight throughout the game so far, and made just a pistol to score 2 in the first end. Danielle coming out, going to come down to it. Maybe a little tap. A freeze would work as well.
What a miss.
Not much, Matt. Jocelyn made another shot. Big surprise.
Jeez.
Yeah, and Danielle's going to try to follow her down and lock one onto the face. Here we see that big swooping curl like we saw last end on her shot in the second to score 1. And that's pretty good. It's a slight over curl for maybe the angle they were trying for, but they got the angle they wanted on the left-hand side. So pretty nice shot, as biased as I am.
Still, that's a good shot. Usable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one where, it'd be really good if you could, get to the face with a little extra weight, tap it, unlock that back one. But, throwing that kind of weight, if you're off at all and you chip off, then it's you're really not getting much out of that shot. So for first rock of the end, that's a pretty good start.
And I mean, let's be honest. I mean, a lot of mixed double strategy is avoiding disaster.
Yeah, because it's always looming, right?
It's always looming. An analogy for life, if ever there was.
That's a really nice place shot by Brent. Really makes it difficult for Jay to use that rock that Danielle just placed there. Looking like probably an out turn tap. Try to keep frozen on the rock that Gallant just threw, and tap our top yellow onto their shot blue rock.
Do you ever think you can drag that one over to just pick it clean, that blue one? I almost throw like a double?
Oh, so dragging, which rock are we thinking? I'm thinking that blue is almost always going into our back yellow.
Almost, yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But I'm just saying, man, maybe not. I don't know. Here's the thing about being behind the glass is everybody that's curled for long enough knows you make 100% of your shots from behind the glass.
And as Matt said, we were playing in this event, and we're clearly not anymore. Yeah. So there's a reason for that. If we knew everything, we'd probably still be out there playing. Jason and Danielle elected to play the intern here, which I think that helps things a little bit. Create the shot rock now. That's the first big plus.
Yes.
Angles are still not great. I think the top blue rock is still always going into the back yellow, but
yeah, definitely.
But it is a little bit better than it was.
Well, I think if you bop that, you spill both blues, don't you?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure the I guess the blue rock that's top 4. I don't really think that's going anywhere.
Oh yeah.
Maybe just spills to the side of the forefoot. But I think you're losing all the rocks that are T-line or below if you hammer that top yellow. Which I'm really not sure is. I'm not sure which team that's best for.
I don't even know if that'd be advisable.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know who that helps more.
The fans.
So we have something to talk about.
Not that we have any problem yakking, as you know. So, anyways, here comes Brent. Throwing the intern. I think he's just going to stack on top of that. We have the emergence of what I like to call the conga line.
Conga line. Yeah. What's that like? A bunch of stacked corner frozen
just
rocks.
Stacked rocks.
Yeah.
And they're going back and forth. Yeah. So these are the ones where then they're going to run back the center guard, and then you don't even know what's going to happen. Yeah. That's one thing that's, and he's coming down that just putting it down there just like that. That's exactly what he wanted to do.
Ever since that, Gallant had that one miss in the second end that, ran a little wider on him. Ever since then, he's made the adjustment. He's been just money on all of his draws up until now. He's really, especially the two this end, he's really cut the angles down for Schmiemann and Ginter.
Yep, and if you really want to get down to brass tacks, talk about what the difference is between the best players in the world and your average club curlers, it's adjustments. There's a lot of good throwers out there, but like the rocks in the ice are just variables.
Yeah, for sure, right? Everybody, you get up to that elite level, and everyone throws it pretty good. Everyone has pretty good weight control. Everybody's pretty good at doing what they want to do. They're pretty good at executing what they think they need to do. The tricky part at the top level is just figuring out those minute ice conditions, those details that, it's 3 feet heavier in this spot from your previous throw, right? You hear Gallant on the Goose Shoot team, he's as vocal as anybody talking about those differences in speed and all. Yeah, this track is running a little bit different, right? And we do see, as consistent and true as the ice is here, it's you see some different things, a little bit more curl on the one side than the other.
Yep. Yeah, well, and I just, I think about when Gushu won the Brier in 2016 at home, and Gallant looks at him and goes, "It's 6 feet slower than it's been all week."
Yeah, and Brad kind of half listened to him and threw maybe about a couple feet heavier, and they had to bust the line to get it full 8. But it worked out. If Brett doesn't say anything there, I don't know if they get it done actually.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, and it looks like Jay is just throwing the guard here. Just decides, you know what? There's nothing good that can happen for me right here. So why don't I just take my one and live to fight another day?
Yeah, I think that they're, it's just kind of pick your poison, right? They could try to open things up and, maybe give themselves a better chance at 2, but they're likely going to have to give up shot rock in order to do that. And this late in the end, I just don't know if that'd be very advisable. So the thing is, Danielle, she will have a very difficult, but, possible draw to side button for 2, assuming that Gallant doesn't completely take that away here. So they do have a chance at 2, but it's just you blow it open and the steel's in play. Whereas if you keep it there, 1 point is better than no points, hey?
Yeah, well, you can't win the game in the fourth end, but you can sure lose the game in the fourth end.
Yeah, for sure. Especially here in this mixed doubles, as you said, we know they're going to get some more opportunities.
I mean, here's the thing. You take 1, force 1, power play, take 3, can of corn.
Yeah, for sure. Which is honestly like something that could happen because 3s happen all the time in mixed doubles, especially on the power play. Which when it comes up, we can talk about how the advantages that it gives for the team with hammer. So there's going to be lots of opportunities.
And that is. Looks like they're just everyone's just agreeing that, I don't know if anybody wants to mess with this right now. This is a bit of a hornet's nest.
Yeah, so Gallant, so Peterman, she just took away the intern draw, which we figured was the easiest shot there. I think there's a chance that, Jason could maybe come down, set up an angle to set up a deuce for, with that outturn side, say a little corner.
Do you ever come around and just play back for it?
Yeah, a little corner froze. I don't even know if it'd be great to sit, if you can get the angle and tap it a little bit and sit too, that'd be great. I think that's the goal here.
Yeah, just get right to the nose of it, just bounce that back a little bit. And it looks like they're pretty close. They seem to like it. Cleaning's always a good sign.
It's coming in a little bit light. I think they may have just been throwing the guard here.
Which is fine.
Yeah, but it over curled, hey?
Oh boy, look at that.
I can't remember if we talked about that here or in the quarterfinal. We talked about how difficult teams are finding it to place
guard
guards.
Placements. Yeah, I mean, you can't take enough ice.
So many guards are over curling, and it's just that lighter weight. The rock starts to curl a little bit earlier. That break point's a little bit earlier, and like say the lighter weight, it's just going. It really is just going sideways at the end.
Especially if you're throwing guards, you really got to spin it when you let it go.
Yeah, and sometimes that's difficult because you go to change your release a little bit to try to affect the shape of the rock, and then that kind of can affect your weight control a bit.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
You're kind of trying to
kind of trying to do two things at once with that. So
Once again, negotiating all these variables.
yes, the short answer is guards are tricky out here.
Yes.
So Jocelyn's this is interesting.
Just throwing a guard
Yeah,
too.
they're going to throw the guard, but see, they're taking the other turn to do it, which I think it's a smart play. They just saw Jay and Danielle struggle to take enough ice with the out turn, so they go to the other side and they let it curl into the spot that they want to, curl across the center line to the spot they want.
Well, and especially to get outside in on that, I mean, you're taking the weeds, like you're getting almost close to the boards, a little dangerous even, So, like, there's a lot more frost and dirt and hair than there is in the center of the sheet, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't think Schmiemann and Ginter are seeing anything really makeable for two here. So I'm thinking this is probably just going to be a throwaway.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, can you hurt anything if you try to come way around, just skinny that guard, see if you can get a bigger bite of the button? I don't think you can hurt it.
Perhaps not.
No, they're just throwing it
But I think
away.
they're just throwing it away.
That's
probably a smart call. I just think.
Yeah.
Just with the angles on those top blue, even if you made some noise in the house, I think it was likely going to be a steal, which,
Absolutely.
down 4 points, you would have loved to try to get a multiple there, but you got to just kind of take your medicine sometimes.
Absolutely. Play the long game. The game's 8 ends long. Use all 8 ends.
You bet.
So,
just as they're getting the rock set for the fourth end here.
update on 2. The combination of Carey Hodgson answered right back with the deuce of their own in the third end. Looks like Sarah's playing her last one coming home. And it looks like she's got a pretty makeable intern draw tap for 2.
Yeah, this game has been super back and forth. You had I don't know, I can't remember who had the hammer in the first end, but just the 1 point score, so it was either a steal or a force. Anderson and Drop can take 2. Hodgins and Carey take 2 right back, and now Anderson has a shot right back for 2 again, and it looks like she might have just slipped a little deep.
That's an expensive one.
Yeah, so could have taken the lead to go up 1. Instead, they just get the single point.
I don't know why you ever don't take the out turn on that.
Yeah, interesting call there. I don't know. Perhaps they just didn't know the spot as well. Maybe lots of times that might have just been the track that Sarah was playing throughout the whole time.
Yeah.
Maybe she threw the intern on her first rock at the end, but they elected with the intern and just clipped off. So it's just a 1 point score for the Americans. It'll be 3-3. With Carey and Hodgins having the hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back on our feature sheet, we have Schmiemann Ginter put their first one kind of corner frozen. That intern side going away is just not curling up the same way that the out turn side is. So, back to it's pretty good.
Did she play the intern at that, or did she play the out turn and over curl a smidge? I didn't see. We had
Full disclosure, I have no idea.
we had eyes on the other sheet. So you viewers watching at home know better than we do.
Engineer Saxby, is that the intern or the out turn? He's giving us the I don't know.
Guess the commentators should probably pay attention to the game, hey? Well.
So, but at any rate,
I'm thinking it was the out turn because that was the side that Danielle had been throwing the last
makes
2,
sense.
the right side there. So I'm thinking it
Absolutely.
was just pretty good weight, just a little over curl. And Jocelyn answers back with another good one. Now Jason's gonna once again try to negotiate the angle here. Maybe a tap, maybe a freeze works as well.
freeze would be real good here. In turn. And they're looking real good. Actually, I really like the way that this end is setting up. So, yellow, I think, is going to get back in this. It's my bold prediction. They're going to get corner frozen on this one. If they get corner frozen on this one, which I think they're going to overcurl a little.
Just a little light there, yeah. So
that's interesting.
little light there. So you got the double centers, I guess, which is, that's nice. We would have liked to have gotten that one to, at least to the 4 foot to set ourselves up an angle. The way that it's set, it kind of hooked, and it'd be tricky to use the outturn to use that rock, to tap that rock in for later. So not the best result there. Thing about Jay and Danielle, they're down 3 right now, and so they're going to start to take some risks to try to get back in this game,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Getting to be the only a few ends left. They'd really love it if they could get a steal here. A force plays, right? Force, you go and use your power play and maybe get 3 to get back within 1 point. But a steal is kind of the idea here, if possible.
And I don't know what to make of that. I mean, again, just a little bit less curl than they anticipated.
Yeah, a little chip off there, so that's going to give Jay an opportunity to throw a similar shot as he did on his last one.
Do you take the out turn on that, or you come in turn again?
I'm thinking in turn again.
I think
yeah.
so. He just threw it, right?
Yeah, and just where his rock is sitting, it's just
Yeah, that's a little bit peeking out the other side, eh?
also a little bit more margin on the intern. If he ever does come up a little bit heavy or it's hanging a bit, traps into that left-hand blue, and he still ends up with a pretty good angle, right?
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
one of those, thinking a little bit about the tolerance of the shot.
Absolutely. And they're looking pretty close on this. This is. I will say, not all shots are created equal. This would be really behoove them to make this one. Oh, they're gonna come a little. That's all right.
That's pretty good. So yeah, like I say, he was probably maybe a little bit heavier than he was looking for there, but the way that they called the shot allowed for that, so he still got a decent angle there. Not a bad shot.
Again, I mentioned this in the quarterfinals, but if you're just joining us, a lot of times it's I talk a lot about with my teammate about just what shot gives us the most good outcomes, and that's certainly an excellent example of that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be all or nothing on every shot, right? You're not going to nail it every time completely, and you don't necessarily want to plan to miss any kind of shot, right? You want to throw everything to make it, but sometimes missing on the pro side, can still achieve the outcome you're looking for.
If we made every shot, we'd be playing checkers.
So I'm thinking, Jason set up a good angle there, but the thing is, it's still counting 2 for blue. So Brett's going to come in and try to either mess up the angle or throw a guard. This is looking a little tight early on.
Took off on him. Did that pick? That might have
Perhaps.
picked.
That one broke quite early.
That one might have picked.
I don't know if that maybe caught a little fresh ice or picked.
He gave me the body language that it was desperation sweep, then resigned defeat.
And Brett, he's made pretty much everything, up until that point, at least for the last couple ends, and you see him miss by that much, you wonder if, once again, if he just got tricked by something.
Yeah, I mean, player that good's not going to miss by 12 feet. That's just not going to happen. I mean, listen, people miss, but 12 feet's a lot to miss by.
Yep, it is. I mean, I'm a pretty good player, and I missed by 12 feet, multiple times this weekend. So what do you know? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's why we're here and they're there.
This is the weird and wonderful world of mixed doubles.
Absolutely, it happens. Mixed doubles happens.
Yeah.
So, just a quick update on sheet 2. Anderson Dropkin did end up getting their deuce, so it looks like it didn't roll too far. And looks like Corey's got a pretty good one coming down. Takes out that. So looks like it's a house full of blues. So the force is on.
Force is on. All nothing above the tee buried behind the center. So still lots of room for Colin and Chelsea to maybe suck 1 or 2 in there to create a multiple, but they're gonna have to bury one pretty good in order to create the tee.
Oh, just a little bit light from Schmiemann, Ginter right there. And I wonder, you ever think of the ice is just changing a little bit, because we're seeing, some real good execution. Now things are getting a little wonky.
Yeah, that's 2 shots in a row, from Brett and then Jason, where one big over curl, one quite a bit light. So it's that 5th end. That's the time when you might see the ice start to come down a little bit. We certainly haven't seen any resemblance of flattening in the ice up until now. The ice has held up quite well. It's still very good manageable speed right until the very final end. But it does sometimes change throughout the event. This would be the 4th straight day of play on it. But yeah, 5th end, maybe a little bit of change happening with the ice.
Yep, absolutely. And the good thing is you'll notice everyone's playing with the yellow brush pads, which are the standard fabric now. The old fabric used to chew up the ice, something terrible, but the yellow pads hold up pretty good. So.
Yeah, you see less scratching of the ice, and pretty much eliminated directional sweeping. You just see some teams still trying and to direct rocks a little bit, but you certainly don't see it to the same extent as you saw a few years ago when you had all different kinds of brushes out there, which is why they decided to standardize it. Just make the game a little bit more about the thrower and being precise with weight control as opposed to just kind of joysticking it in there at times, right?
Absolutely. Like, that was a weird year of curling, that's for sure. Once everyone figured it out, it was kind of like I was chatting with a very good team from Canada who is in the top 10 at the point, who shall remain nameless, but they told me point blank, they said, listen, we don't even practice throwing it good anymore. We just work on our sweeping.
And that's just in the end, I don't think that's quite what you want for the just for the spirit of the game. The idea is that it's about the thrower throwing it really close every time, and the sweepers, really big strong sweepers making a difference, just with their fitness and their good judgment and whatnot. But you want it to be more about the thrower.
Absolutely. So I don't know what they got here. They got the run?
I think it's the double run. So
the old double run. So do they ever get a triple?
Well, so the first job is get the angle onto the second yellow,
yeah.
right?
Oh, you bet.
And I think you get it barreling towards the pocket, and then you kind of hope. If she hits it really, really good, I think she could be shot rock when she's done. But there's quite a few ifs before. And this is looking a little tight.
She slid tight out of hand on that one.
Whoops.
I think the wheels are kind of coming off here, Tristan.
It's tricky, right? When you're forced to play some really tough shots.
Well, and again, when you're playing the double run triple, that's like you're never pleased about that.
Yeah, for sure. And they say we have seen some misses on, those big weight shots near the end of ends, right? You take a little more broom because you don't often have a sweeper, and then if you put it a little bit outside, you see it run a little bit. That one she actually got on the other side of it,
yep.
Maybe protecting a bit against that from maybe earlier on in a different shot like that. But the miss that we've seen has actually been wide on those. So
yeah, well. And the other thing, too, is that it's not something that people talk about a lot, but that running that center back is actually a very hard shot. Because if you think about it, like, both hacks, create an angle. So you're never sliding straight down the middle. You're always getting it at a little bit of an angle.
No, for sure. And I think, some people struggle with that as far as, visualizing your line of delivery, right? You think that you're throwing straight down the center line, but you're really not. The hacks at an angle to the center line. So... it's like you say, it's not like you're not just looking down the center line and trying to split it on release, even when the rock is on the center line.
You ever think the game goes to just a single hack straight in the middle?
I heard someone else throw that idea out there. I'm not sure. I guess there could be some advantages to it. I don't know.
Whoa, this is sliding heavy. Oh boy. Oh no, that's enough. That is 3 bells.
Yeah, Schmiemann and Ginter took a few chances there to try to, maybe grab a steal or, get a force to get back in the game.
I have a feeling we'll see the power play.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. Now, what will we be down 6 now? Gonna try to get a bundle to get back in this game.
You ever scored a 6 before?
I have. Yep, it's not easy to do. You need to make a lot of shots. You need a lot of misses on the other end, but they don't need to get it all back right away.
So we're going to take a quick break here while they're setting up the power play to thank our sponsors. So first off, thank you to a title sponsor, Qualico, who we couldn't do this without. But that's not to say that our other sponsors, the Malcolm Hotel, Visions Electronics, Banff Lodging Company, Cam Clark Ford, the Bow Valley Credit Union, Riverstone Insurance, Canbo Motors, Shoppers Drug Mart, Ashram Curling Supplies, Town of Banff, the Bow Valley Tim Hortons, but also just Tim Hortons all across Canada and the United States, Sunset Alpine, Rocky Mountain Soap Company, Company, Canmore, Alberta, The Town, and Golf Design Services, and Ridgewood Sign Crafters. So thank you everyone for your support. This event couldn't run without you, and we're so grateful.
Okay, we're back here for the sixth end. Schmiemann and Ginter down a bundle, going for the power play here. So for those of us that maybe aren't as familiar with mixed doubles, the power play rule is that each team, once a game, they get an end where they can move the placement of the rocks over to the corner side. So instead of the rocks being on the center line, they can be more in line with the edge of the 8-foot. And that just creates a little bit of an advantage as far as directing the play a little bit away from the middle, opens up the scoring area a bit, and might just give them a little bit more room to score, 2 or 3.
Absolutely, yep. And you're also changing the path that you're playing down. You haven't played as many rocks down the middle. You're a little less certain of what it's going to do, especially with rocks curling as much as they do. I think we've all find that, once the rock crosses the center line, it always just curls a little bit more. That's just kind of physics, right? So mixing some stuff up, and hopefully they can crack a big one here.
All right, so we talked yesterday about, not yesterday. We talked about the quarterfinal about what the best defense of the power play was. Some teams they'll elect for the shot that Brett is playing now, playing that corner freeze or freezing the rock around the corner. The shot that they played initially was interesting. They just drew one to top 4. Now, and remember in mixed doubles, you can't hit until the 4th rock of the end. So Jay and Danielle, even though they could have hit that rock and sat 2 like immediately, they weren't allowed to. They, in a regular game they would, or they might, but in this one they just have to ignore it, or you can't remove it.
Yeah, and especially Peterman, Gallant. A lot of times, and we talked earlier, a lot of times when teams are up by a pile, you'll see the tick, because you can remove the stone, your shooter, but you can't remove any of the placement stones. And so a lot of times you'll try to tick that rock to the center. Peterman, Gallant decided to just keep it simple, silly, and just put it right in the middle. They've had, Lord knows, they've had a lot of practice at that, and they did just that. And then Brent follows it up with just a perfect freeze. And so, Ginter, Schmiemann. God, thank goodness Steinkey's easier, eh?
Okay, quick update on sheet 2. So we initially made a mistake. Anderson and Dropkin did get the deuce in the 4th end to go up 1. And guess what? Carey and Hodgson. Geez, I'm struggling with that name today. Hey, Chelsea and Colin. I'll just say
there
that.
You go.
Grab 2. They grabbed 2 in the 5th end to go up 1. So we've seen 4 deuces in a row, a lead switch every time. Really tight game over there. It's 5-4 for Chelsea and Colin after 5.
Mixed doubles curling, baby. Back to our feature sheets. Jeff just coming on down. Probably just going to stack that right on top of his other one.
Jeff? I'm thinking.
Joe, I got him confused. That's Brett. Not to be confused with Jeff Walker, his teammate on the Gushu team.
I wonder what Brett would think of being confused with Jeff.
Probably wouldn't like it.
Probably wouldn't like it. I think, I guess they do. Well, they don't. I guess they do look kind of similar. Both pretty tall.
I bet Brett would say he's like, I have much better hair than Jeff.
Well, I think it's more just a volume piece with the hair, right?
Absolutely. That's true. Jeff's losing the battle a little bit.
Just a little bit. I've heard him say it's just migrating. It's not really losing. It's just kind of migrating south.
Yeah, well, it's some men reach a point in their life where they have to fire their hair before it quits. And, you got to adapt some strategies to see what you can do.
Yeah. Doesn't look like Brett has that problem right now, so that's good for him.
Absolutely.
He's a young man. Oh, Jay, that's a pretty good shot.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. You got to do that. Got to have some.
We would have loved to get a little bit extra curl and maybe try to get the double there, but that's that'd be being pretty precise with a ton of weight like that. So
Yeah, absolutely.
pretty good shot. Really good to stick the shooter. Something that Brett and Jocelyn will have to deal with here.
Yep. And now it's just kind of this is Brett and Joss got them in the Cobra clutch right now, and they're just kind of squeezing them. Right now the bigger opponent is obviously, besides the one right in front of you for Schmiemann, Ginter, is the clock. They're running out of a little time to make their move, and just a simple nose hit to sit 3 when you don't have the hammer is a pretty good force.
I think the really crucial shot was Brett making that corner freeze over on the left there, right?
Yeah, that was dirty.
That really neutralized the left side of the sheet for Jay.
Roll out.
Little
He's
roll
not
out there.
happy. He is not happy because he knows.
So you leave a hit, but there's no double, right?
No double.
So you leave a hit over there and maybe just try to roll over and try to unlock it,
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
If that rock is a foot deeper, then you got a double to sit through, right?
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, you just roll over, jiggle those, and then see what you got for your next one.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll give Danielle a look at a double for something. It's I can still see a 3 here. You can still work a 3 out of this.
Yeah, you're gonna need
a little help.
throw a little bit of weight here. Just probably best bet is trap into that onto that side blue, sort of unlock it from the yellow that's sitting side 8. And I don't think you'll have an easy double. And this is coming in a little wide as well.
Uh-oh.
Got to catch it. Not bad. You know what?
Bad.
Not
That's
bad actually.
Really not bad at all.
Yeah, I think he thought he was a little bit further off than he really was there.
He just confirmed. I just saw mouth not bad.
Not bad
there we go.
actually.
Yep.
Yeah. Leave it. You change the angle, so now they're the ones frozen. Now that rock, it is removable if you get kind of anywhere close to the nose, but it's looking like Jay and Danielle are gonna have a better chance of scoring a multiple now.
So now the game is try to figure out where you can sit second shot without a double, or first shot without a double.
Yeah, this is one, you could probably draw like side 4 foot, make them go out and play a nose hit for 2, which, scoreboard is totally fine. Mm-hmm. You could get a little greedy, maybe go after shot rock, and then maybe make them, you leave it right on nose, then it's a little bit of a trickier hit. Thinking scoreboard situation, what do you think here?
If I was Peterman Gallant, I'd just put that side 4 top tee.
Side 4 top tee. All right.
Just get those dead level.
All right. The one thing with this shot here is, like, if you ever got a miss, say you get a pick or something happens and you don't quite, you don't get one in the house, then there's a chance that Jay and Danielle could come down and make the hit on the open blue to score their 3.
Yep.
Right. So
they're coming heavy.
So a little bit of a riskier shot, but quite a bit of tolerance as far as where you can place it in the house. And it looks like Jocelyn, not surprisingly, has made a pistol.
Pretty nice.
Right.
Well, you know what though? There's the double for 3s here.
What's that?
Think you can get that double?
Ooh. I'm thinking that.
It's a run double.
Yeah, it'd be a run double. I'm thinking that might be a little bit too tough. I think you take your free 2 points here, move on. Just thinking about the quite a bit harder shot for maybe just 1 extra point, whereas 2, neither, down 3 without the hammer, down 4 without the hammer, neither's a great situation, but I think you take your easy 2 points here.
I agree. I mean, for the record, I wouldn't play the run double either, but, you know, I make all my shots from behind the glass, so it's easier to say than do. But, yep, Schmiemann's going to just play the easy nose hit, and Jay Ginter's going to give her the old rub down. Oh, he's going hard.
This is curling early.
Uh-oh.
He's going to have to really,
he's gonna be fine.
really work to save it.
Fine, they're fine.
Are they? Are they?
No!
Oh, just.
That's a bummer.
Just got caught with that curly in-turn again. We'd seen that a couple times. Maybe just a little more broom. Anyways, so just one. So that's going to be a final score of 8-3 for Peterman and Gallant. They're going to move on to the final, playing against the winner of Sheet 2.
And we'll kind of bounce over to that. Again, we don't have a full view of the rink, but at the same time, we're going to be able to kind of fill you in a little bit. So at the moment, Corey and Sarah have one sitting there right on top of the button. They've got a couple center guards, and they've got one behind. So Chelsea looks like she's going to... She looks like she's playing a hit. Well, maybe not. What do I know?
I'm thinking she's trying to draw down to the, it's just visible rock, top 4.
Yep,
Try to cut him down. Yeah, just, well, this is looking a little light. It might just end up being a guard. So it's going to be a draw. It's going to be a draw to the 4-foot for 2 for Anderson and Dropkins. Another shot they're looking at is potentially playing the really heavyweight in-off. Off of the right-hand yellow, to second shot yellow sitting back 4, just not quite visible on the screen. Oh, there it is. Oh, there you go. You got it.
Oh, okay. Look at that. That's real nice. Good job.
So yeah, you can see it's a really, really flat angle.
That's real flat. Yeah. They're gonna have a go at it though.
They really, you know, this is interesting, right? So you're down 1.
I love it. They got a gambler's heart.
You're down. You're down 1, so you got a pretty makeable shot for, you could probably play either turn at the draw to the 4-foot for 2 to go up 1. But if you could ever make this, I think if you hit it just right with a ton of weight, you could maybe get it out of the 8-foot for 4. So they're electing to go for the, going for the gusto, I guess.
This is the uppercut.
They're tired of messing around with these deuces. They want to score a 4.
I'm tired of this low offense, low risk curling.
Or a double deuce, as
the double deuce.
Call it, yeah.
Absolutely. Love it. We've talked about it a couple times again, but mixed doubles is not for cowards. No. So this is right in line with that philosophy.
She is going to have to hum this.
Well, she's got a big extension.
She does,
so
yeah. I'm thinking this has got to be. I think this has got to be in the 5s in order to do what she wants to do.
Sarah's a practitioner of the old Rachel Homan 6 and 6. 6 seconds, 6 rotations, straight as a laser. See what we can do.
Yeah. Oh, that was a big extension.
There we go.
It's kind of close. They're sweeping it.
Yep.
We'll see, hey?
I think they got it.
Do ya?
Oh! Good try. Good try.
So it didn't pick it up quite on the screen yet, but just got it a little bit thin. So only a 1 score for Anderson and Dropkins. It's trying for 4, end up with just the 1. Had the shot for 2, elected to try to go to really take control of the game. So they're going to head into the 7th end, tied up 5-5 without the hammer.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Are we aware of the power play situation over there? Have any of the power plays been used, or is that how we're going to finish this game off with the back-to-back power plays?
That's a great question. I don't know. I have a feeling if there's any available power plays to play, they'll be played right about now.
That's
look at that.
Like.
They're going over to the side.
So we know at least Carey and Hodge, Colin and Chelsea still have their power play, so they're going to use that now. Try to get a multiple, score 2 or 3 and take control of the game.
Yep. And like we said before, that's a very common strategy is that you try to save your power play for as long as you can, and then really try to use it to take control of the game late.
Yeah, for sure. The only times that you usually see teams use it, earlier on in a game is if they get way down, right? So
Absolutely.
you get down in a game and you just need to do something to get back within kind of striking distance.
Absolutely. Well, I've always there's a part of me that's always wanted to win the coin toss and just go power play right in the first end.
Really throw the other team for a loop.
See what the other team will do.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be too worried if you did that. If you did that to me, because I'd be like, "Hey, this guy doesn't know what he's doing." But
yeah, right, exactly. That's probably the opposite.
It can go one of two ways. You definitely get them thinking. You could definitely get them in their head.
Confuse and enrage.
Yes.
That's my strategy.
Yeah.
And Gallant Walker come off the ice to a nice applause. And we're coming down, and it looks like they're just going top 4. Very much like Gallant and Peterman before them. And
Just clapping for the.
down just so.
Just sharing the clapping in the background for the semifinal teams coming off the ice for the other semifinal. That is.
And their run's over, but 2K's not bad. I know who's buying dinner tonight.
Yep. I'm gonna live like a king. It's good.
Absolutely. Get you a couple steaks and a couple cocktails at any rate.
Maybe, hey.
Absolutely.
Who knows?
Play your cards right.
Yeah.
You just cleaned up after him, for goodness sakes.
I did, yeah. One cleaned
You're
up
like,
their
hey
stuff.
guys, I
yeah.
threw out the garbage. I did all the things you asked me to do.
That's the reason I missed the first 2 shots of
know.
these. I should get something for that, hey?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Working hard.
All right, so power play. So as we were talking before, Anderson and Dropkins looking to defend against the power play. They go top 4. Good play. Carey and Hodgson, they can't hit it, so they're going to just suck another one around their corner guard.
Little heavy.
Little heavy. At the end, they figured they're looking a little heavy. At the end, they were thinking they're going to sweep to try to get it by so that they don't leave a pocket. Ended up making the decision probably just a hair too late.
Yeah.
So sitting second and third shot over on the 8-foot side, on their left 8-foot side.
Yep.
And now that's going to open up a freeze for Dropkin. So once again, this is only the 3rd rock at the end, so Dropkin cannot hit, even though he has a rock out in the open. So he's going to come down and freeze. He makes this freeze good. I think that's going to go a long ways in keeping, limiting the damage, I guess, on this power play end for the Americans.
And Corey is giving it a real sweep.
Looking a little bit light here. A little bit of margin on this. If you can get it into the 8-foot, you're good.
Oh, there you go.
That's
is that any good?
That's a pretty good shot. Locked it right onto the face of it.
Oh, but there's a double. They left the double though.
I think ideally that was one. I'm not exactly sure how they were calling it. If they were playing the corner freeze onto the far left one, or they.
You got to play that on the placement stone, don't you?
Yeah, I think that's what they were. Doing. Might have been a plan B at the end to lock it on the one that was closer to center.
Yep.
One thing this does is, as you can see, Carey was motioning. Maybe a double off of the rock top 4 to try to sit 3. Would you play that now, Matt, or do you think you would play another setup shot or 2?
Oh man, I don't know if I'd play it right now. Because the problem is that you play that right now, then they just corner freeze on it again, and then you're right back where you started, right?
Also, they would also have the option to hit as well, too, right? Because this would be the 4th rock at the end.
Dropkins trying to limit the score. Corey can throw peel.
He can throw peel. He's capable of that for sure. So even if we make the double, even if Colin comes down and makes the double really well, likely going to leave a double, perhaps a triple back for Corey. So it might be more of maybe just a hit and roll in that direction or a setup shot.
Absolutely.
I think this is probably a good time to, move a blue, address something in the house, but I don't know if you need to go quite for the gusto and play the double quite yet.
Here's, this is what I'd do. I'd throw hack weight. I'd hit that stone they just threw, half of it, bounce that back, roll behind the one on the top button. That's the shot.
That's the shot, hey? That's one. All right.
I think that's what they're doing, actually.
You think so?
I think so.
I'm looking like Colin. has the intern lined up here.
No,
so
they're throwing the double.
looking like the double. And you know what? That's one more thing to keep in mind. Colin has been hitting, we saw in the quarterfinal, hitting so well. It's not looking like peel weight. Might be just sort of a lighter weight hit and roll in that direction.
normal?
Like a hit and roll freeze, perhaps?
Yeah, just hit and stay.
So he over curls it a smidge.
Okay.
I'm thinking he was trying to get to roll a little bit closer to like frozen on that
Frozen
blue.
on that, absolutely.
Not a bad shot, but he may have set something up for Corey here. If he comes, hits the left-hand side of that
does he have the
yellow,
wheel?
might have the, I don't know if you can quite call it an around the horn, but you go,
Yeah, it's
you
the
go,
wheel.
you
You
go
bet.
left-hand side of yellow, onto the blue, scare the blue, you know,
Spin over.
roll your shooter into the 12.
Push out.
There's a chance if he hits this just right, he could get all of the blues, sorry, all of the yellows moving.
It's what the people demand.
Yes, they want to see rocks fly here.
All right, let's see how hard Corey's gonna throw this. I'm gonna bring up the old timing machine.
The last one you had on there was 5-7-1. I think that was, what was that?
Caitlin Law's last shot.
Caitlin Law's final shot in her semifinal game needed to make a lot of rocks move, and she just checked it.
She made one move really far.
All right, and here we're going to see Corey give it another shot here. You know, once again, not firing it.
Yeah, not that much.
That tells me that they're not really worrying about trying to get all of them moving, just trying to maybe make the top double and leave the shooter in a good spot.
That's a good shot.
That's a pretty good shot, yeah.
That was peel. 6, 7.5.
Okay, all right. Maybe I'm
Easy
just
peel.
maybe just after seeing Caitlin throw that one, I was just thinking that's what peel looks like. If it's anything less than 6, then we're you know it's just that's finesse.
That's right. That is yeah.
That's control.
7-second finesse weight.
Yeah. Well, that's how you eliminate the curl, right? If you're struggling with how much is curling out there, just
Yeah.
throw
Throw
bombs
lasers. Just throw lasers.
every shot. It's not going to curl much.
You ever done that before? We had ice so badly you just had to just pitch him as hard as you could just to save him.
I wouldn't say bad. I think sometimes just if you're struggling reading it, sometimes just throwing it a little bit harder, tightening the broom up. There's going to be less curl. It just makes it a little bit easier for ice reading. You know, you're not going to be quite as precise as you normally would with your, you know, with those down controllable weights, but it helps you maybe get back in the ballpark and just, you know, make a few half shots just to kind of get back in the game if you're struggling.
That's an interesting setup.
Yeah, I think he set up a good angle. So that yellow, it's going to be hard to remove that yellow. So that I think that has a chance of neutralizing any kind of stragglers that you know.
And
might
that
show
looks
up
like it's
later on.
second shot.
I think it is second shot, right? I think the only way that you could, I think the only way that you're going to bring, you know, the side blue into play would be to just chisel that yellow rock over, which is a difficult shot.
Oh boy, yeah.
So this Americans,
What are they having a look at? They're hoofing around.
what are your options here, Matt?
Man, you know what? I just think you keep it simple and just remove one of those blues. Or wait, hold on. Don't remove the blues. You are blue. Don't do that.
It's a good thing you're not out there coaching
I know,
them.
right? Well, there's a reason, right? I mean, goodness gracious.
So
think, you know-
if Matt's confused, then I guess there's a chance that some of our viewers are. So the Americans, Dropkin and Anderson are blue, and Carrie and Hodgson are yellow. So
It's like they're just chopping it.
yeah. So the thing is, like they're sitting one, right? So if you could play around with that yellow and try to either get it out or get an angle to get it out. The other thing is you go to the middle, just sit 2, right?
Yep.
If you get them even up, there's not going to be a double there, right? So you draw the side of the forefoot. If you make it really good, you're not going to have a double, and it's going to be difficult for Carrie and Hodgson to bring those stragglers into play. And last thing, just a couple people wondering about the score. It is 5-5 for, well, it's 5-5, so it's tied. But
5-5 is tied.
But Carrie and Hodgson
Hodgson have the hammer.
have the hammer.
Since they power played. Oh, and they were just drawn.
Just drawing, yeah. So I think a pretty smart call there.
Yep.
Just
that's-
play the
that's-
simple.
That's pretty. It's not level, but that's pretty close to dead level.
Yeah. I don't really think there's a double there.
No way you can hit that thick enough to get it across.
Don't think so. So pretty good. That's a little bit outside the box thinking. You know, you think you want to try to address that yellow rock, but sometimes, you know, just going to the wing and sitting two is a good way to try to lock up the force.
What's the old adage? The best guard is second shot.
Best guard, sometimes second shot. Yep.
And it looks like they're just gonna draw. They're just freezing down to that shot stone. Well, second shot rather. No, you're gonna try to sit corner frozen on that.
Yeah,
What do you do if you're Dropkin Anderson if they freeze down perfect?
Well, the thing about that is that if they make it really good, so right now where those rocks are sitting, the double isn't there, but if you were able to corner freeze one onto the blue, you know, on the left side of the 8 foot, then there is a double off of it, right? Because it's, you know, your rock is there, it's a rock higher, that gives you an angle to maybe make a double to score, well, 3, right? And that's assuming that the Americans don't do anything about that to try to take it away, either guarding it or, you know, drawing another one in the middle. But you make a good corner freeze here. I think that they're going to have a good chance at least getting 2.
Yes, I agree. And you know, that's kind of what you're going for. At least that's your bare minimum.
Yeah. You know, going up 2, going to the last end. We're assuming that the Americans haven't used their power play yet.
Well, that's fine. They're shot.
A shot, yeah. It's a good angle. They probably called it maybe a foot or 2 deeper, but pretty good shot. I think that did the trick for Colin.
I'll be honest though, if I'm Dropkin Anderson right now, I'm kind of a little queasy on that shot. That shot's bad news for them.
Yeah, because once again, it's a little bit tricky to remove. You hit the high side of it, and you know you punch it and miss the back blue. That's pretty good. You're gonna roll your shooter. The yellow's gonna be, you're gonna touch the left hand yellow. I think they're probably just gonna peel it out.
Probably.
And then
If they lose a couple of theirs, so be it.
yeah. I think that it's just the peel, and I think assuming that they don't jam on the back, it's probably going to be a force for carrying Hodgson, which is pretty good with the power play, right?
Yeah, that's a real coup.
Often we see with the power play, more often than not, you see multiple getting taken by the team with the hammer. You know, we don't we don't have the stats to back that up at all. We don't quite have the data on all the mixed doubles games yet, but. Subjective experience between you and I
would say absolutely.
Yeah.
You ever see a 4 or a 5, chances are that's a power play end.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, they're just taking a second to chat about it. Definitely worth discussing. I suppose if you hit this real high, you could maybe get both, maybe get all 3. Heck, who knows? The triple might even be here. So it's away. Lots of good rotation, lots of good weight. They seem to like it. So they're not cleaning. Corey just about fell. And, you know, that's pretty good to sit 1, 2, 3. And so it'll end up being a force. Haji taking a look. And trying to figure out, is there any way that they can get more than 1? They're having a look at it. Looks like they might be trying the double. I mean, that's a tough shot, but at the same time, they're staring down the power play most likely for the next end, so they got to make a little bit of a move. It's pretty difficult to try to steal the power play end without a lot of help. So, looks like they're just going to come down and take their 1, try to steal in the next end. Kind of said a couple times before that I personally would like to see the power play not allowed in the 8th end, because I think that it makes for a fairly anticlimactic finish. But, you know, that's just one person's opinion. Heck, you could even take away the power play in the 8th end and give each team 2 power plays. Why not? Let chaos reign. So, they look like they're just lining up for the easy peasy draw. Or they might not be. Who knows? Looks like they're playing a hit, Tristan.
Yeah, interesting. So, I guess.
They might think that they're 2 then.
Well, no, Blues definitely counting 2. It looks like 3 actually. Maybe Carrie figures she just had a little bit of margin, a little bit more margin on this one.
Oh man, that's.
So you come off of it. It was actually good. So scored 1.
Scored 1.
Looked like it.
That's about all you could do.
Yeah, I think interesting call. She was, instead of just drawn to the button, she decided to play to the backing, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And
That's why you played to the backing right there.
yeah, for sure. So that was a really good force by Dropkin and Anderson getting the force on the power play. You don't see that very often. They really just did play a very good end. Smart call to, I think, split the house halfway through the end there. Just simplified things a bit as opposed to just creating that wall around the corner.
Ooh, and yeah, look at that. They have the power play waiting.
Yeah. So now down 1 with the hammer and using their power play. So
Up 1. Wait, no, yeah, down 1 with the power. Yeah, you're right. Sorry about that.
No, that's all good. Yeah, you got the force and 7, right? So I would say that Dropkin and Anderson have the advantage here.
Definitely.
Even though they're down in the game, we just saw force the power play, but you don't see that very often. I'd say the percentages would probably say the multiple happens more often than not for the team with the hammer.
I would say 70-30, eh?
Yeah, around there. I'd say so. Advantage USA here for the 8th end.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Carrie and Hodgson are gonna do to try to defend against it here?
I think you just tick it.
Just play the tick, hey?
I think so. They're not going to do that. They're just going to draw top 4.
Yeah, the thing about that tick shot. So sometimes what teams will play is they'll go down and hit the wide side of the guard and push it into the house. Remember, you're not allowed to remove any rocks from play for the first 3 rocks of the end in mixed doubles, but you can move them around. Excellent result if you make it. If you miss it, it's just if you miss it, you basically get nothing out of it. And you're often playing it in a spot that you don't really know. You're going way out wide, throwing that sort of backline to hackish weight to push it. And it's just maybe not quite a high percentage shot.
Yep, and with that center guard, they signal they're going full steel.
Yeah, for sure. What's the best defense is a good offense?
That's
kind of thing, right?
Especially in mixed doubles.
Yeah.
So, center guard's a little offset, though. More towards the action side. So.
Yeah, maybe a slight. Little bit over curl, maybe a little bit lighter than they were calling. Probably stopped sweeping it just because they wanted it to still stay near the center line.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So now Anderson is going to come down. Does this look like a tick to you, Matt?
I think so.
So now she's going to play the tick on the center guard. So playing in some.
But they got a lot of weight though.
Oh, she's tight. Just good. That's a pistol.
That's real good. Oh, if they roll that on, that is pretty. Oh, look at that spin. It's going to get that hard
towards
spin.
The house.
Oh,
that is a pistol.
That is straight filth. That is just disgusting. Look at that. Those are dead level.
Yeah. That really, really changes the complexion of the end.
Smokes.
If she happens to hit that a little thicker and maybe push it into the boards, that rock just goes back where it was originally drawn. And then Carey and Hodgson have, a center guard to move around, which is sort of the main thing you're looking for when you're trying to, steal. Which, as you said, that's sort of what they were going to try to do at this point. But a big shot there, and they're just Carey and Hodgson. They don't really have much other choice other than just to put the center guard back up. Hey?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, well, that's the risk, is now you're committed.
Yeah, you have committed.
Like
for sure.
You're married to that steal now.
One other option is potentially playing the corner freeze around the corner guard, right? You could ever lock one onto the side of the blue shot rock, then that kind of neutralizes both rocks. The tricky part there is we see 90% of the play in mixed doubles is to the middle, right? Yep. So you don't often play to the wings. So it's hard to really be precise when you're playing that shot for the first time, right? You don't know necessarily the details that we were talking about earlier on about those specific ice conditions. Where do we put the broom? What exact weight do I throw? So they're going to go with the higher percentage shot.
Yep, absolutely. And, the thing is if you call that freeze, then you're essentially, at bare minimum, you're conceding the one, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And if you don't make that freeze perfect, you're dead.
Yeah, you're keeping the forefoot. Very. Yeah, if you go to the wing, you're keeping basically the whole 8 foot open for them to score. So you're assuming that they're going to be able to draw for the one, which is fine. Remember that Carey and Hodgson are up 1, right?
Yeah, I think that Corey's trying to see if he can get all of them.
Yeah, trying to get the top 2, or I guess the two
highest guards.
The 2 highest guards, yes. The little tricky part about playing the center one is there's a possibility that it could jam on the side blue Anderson's shooter from the previous tick shot.
Yep, absolutely. I just think you play that intern peel
Yeah.
off that center.
Yeah.
Sitting 2, you need 2.
Yeah.
They're going to throw up, they probably think they throw up one more center?
Yeah, I think so. I think eventually if they just keep on peeling, you won't have any choice but to play that corner,
play
the corner freeze we were talking about.
And that's kind of the strategy, right? It's kind of like,
I think the thing that Carey and Hodgson like about this setup, and it's not great, but the peel isn't very easy. Like on both turns, there's a rock that could jam, right?
Absolutely, got
and
catchers.
and even if it doesn't dead jam on it, if you just take one of those out, well, there goes the deuce,
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
And like I say, remember they're up. If you end up getting a force here, you go to the extra. Carey and Hodgson would have the hammer, and I'd say they'd take the advantage back in the game.
I would agree.
Dropkin looking a little bit tight here to start. Got right up and swept it. Oh, little fortunate there. He was trying to shoot it across the top. I'm assuming anyways.
Yeah.
Trying to shoot it across the top, maybe. Just missed the back one on the center line side, actually. So I guess there's a chance that that's the way they were playing it. You don't know for sure, but it seemed like they were just trying to slash it sideways, but just missed it. No harm done in the end. Actually, got a bit of a break and rolling over to guard their second shot rock on the right.
Anyone that's played this game long enough knows you got to be lucky to be good too.
Yeah.
And then Hodgson, Carey are now throwing that corner freeze, which they have to, and they got to make a good one here.
Yeah, this is a huge shot for them. If you make this good, it's
this is heavy.
not doing anything to it.
This is
Not talking. Hodgson staying close. If the line is good.
They're going to try to. Well, this is interesting.
Not a bad plan B, really. Stayed for shot rock, and got it half buried around their shot rock. So, definitely the shot is there to sit to, right?
I like that better.
Well, yeah, it's the shot to sit to is difficult, but it's definitely there. If you put it 2 feet higher on that same line, then I don't really know, and you lock it on, I don't really know what Dropkin and Anderson do to sit to at least. They probably try to play something to open it up or unlock it.
They're going to try to play maybe board at it. I saw the hand wave. I assume that's like, not too much, but enough.
This is one that, like, you don't need to worry about sticking your shooter, right? Because you have your counter over there. You don't need 3 points to win. You only need 2. Yep. You just get this rock out. You force Carey to make that shot. You're forcing them to make that shot on the next one. Otherwise, it's once again the two score is happening.
Absolutely. And I bet you they're playing board at it. Board weight. So here we go. Corey seems to like it. Just a little. There it goes.
Bit of a guess out here, right? Remember, no one's played anything over here.
Oh, there it goes.
That's really curling.
Holy smokes! Did they get that guard? Oh.
Might have gone onto their own, actually. Ooh.
Whoa.
So stays for shot rock, but he over curls it, and now Carey and Hodgson, they're going to have a chance to sit to, maybe put the force back on.
Big opportunity lost there.
Yeah. once again, we say like, there's a really good chance that Corey threw that, really close to the way he was trying to. As you saw, like early on in the shot, they were kind of off of it, kind of whoa, and then once it got to that center line, it really, really went.
Yep.
We've seen that too. Like we say, once we go to do these power plays, they're throwing inside out shots that on pieces of ice that we haven't thrown on yet. So it's just a bit of a guess out there.
Yep, absolutely. That's the mystery and danger of the power play.
Yes, yeah. Big upside if you can, with the initial setup, you got room to score more points, but you're playing some different kinds of shots that, you just might not have quite as good a chance of making.
And I can't really see how buried that rock is, but I think they're just going to try to hit and roll. Do they hit and stay, or do they hit and roll? Because I don't think you can get the double.
Yeah, like I think that the back yellow is maybe sticking open just a little bit. Like if you ever rolled it all towards the yellow, there's a chance you'd leave a double. I think if you get nose or a little rolled away, I don't see there being a double.
And Colin's just throwing nice and easy weight. Normal to controlled. You want to stick around. Sticking around is paramount.
This is hanging.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Trying to get it to curl at the end here. And he got curled up to nose.
Nice shot. It's really nice. And they're just going to call the draw down. They've been forced.
Yeah.
Oh, they're looking at it. They're having a look at it.
Once again, from our angle, we can't, quite see exactly how much he can see of the yellow. So the double, while it looks like it might be, just kind of a, sort of simple half rock. There is a guard kind of in the, in the rearview mirror, right?
They're coming to their senses, because here's the deal. You can lose the game trying to play the double. It's a lot easier to lose the game playing the double than it is playing the hit or the draw.
Yeah, I think like if they happen to try the double and miss it, say they just get the one, just rack on the guard, or they just get the first one that they're trying to hit, Carrie's got that one sitting back 4. She goes and throws up a guard, or maybe another one top 8. Now you basically need to either make a double or draw the 4-foot to not lose.
Yep.
More or less, right?
Yep.
Where the other option they're looking at here is you're playing a freeze of some kind. Then you force Carrie to make something a little bit better to try to keep you from scoring your deuce.
Yep.
So they've elected for the freeze on shot rock, back 4. If they make this good, Carrie, blasting it out of there, which would still be difficult, isn't, I don't know how much that does for them, because then all they go do is they lose their shooter, and Anderson goes over and hits that one and scores 2.
Right.
The other option, if they make this, is Carrie might just have to freeze right down to them, and it's just going to be who makes the freeze better, basically.
Right. Yep. Exactly. And it looks a little hot.
But he's sweeping. I think they're sweeping it for line.
Yeah, just a little bit for line.
Really nice line coming in.
But yellow's 2 and 3. Yep. You just gotta squirt that. You gotta squirt that the other way, though. Can't take a risk jamming.
Yeah, and they pushed it. They pushed it a little deeper than they wanted to. Yeah, they pushed that one a little bit deeper than they wanted to. I think because even if a sliver of this, the yellow sitting side of the 8-foot is sticking out, it's going to make for a really, really tough double to try to score 2 for Anderson and Dropkins, even if they say Carey happens to roll out here. So I'm thinking that they're just peeling this rock out, and then Anderson is likely just going to have a draw to the button, really a draw to the 8-foot for her point to tie it up and send it to the extra. So she's taking her time in the hack. Big shot. Collins on it right away. All right, he's evening it out. Looks like it's pretty close. Chelsea might have thrown a little bit less late here just to try to make sure she sticks her shooter. And she makes no mistake.
Hey, that's all right.
Jams on the back. And actually left that one in play.
Yeah, there's a double.
So she might have left a double on the side. They were sweeping that quite a bit. I was surprised by that. I think they wanted to try to get a little bit more roll over to the right-hand side to even them up. If that rolls a foot over to the right, there's no double.
Ugh.
But she left it there, and now it's another attempted screamer double, but this one would be for the win for Anderson.
Yep, double for. And is that back one on?
Hard to tell. From our view, I would say yes.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the rings, eh?
Yeah. That could come into play if, say, she loses her shooter.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. If she keeps her shooter in play, it doesn't matter because they only need to score 2. But looking like what do you say, like a 2/3 of the rock double for the win?
Yep, absolutely. 2/3 of the rock. They just cleaned off all the paths.
Tough one. It looked like Carey was really close to that, and I don't know if it jumped on them a little bit, or they just were trying to plan B at the end, but didn't quite get the roll they were looking for, and Anderson's got a shot to win it here.
Well, and as I've said before, Sarah likes to throw a lot of rotations on her hits, so she gets that good gear action.
Yeah, this would be one where even if she overcurled it a little bit from the spot she was trying to, she still might get the jump over there to make the double.
Yep, absolutely. All right, it all comes down to this. Shots away.
There's that big
Corey's
rotation.
on it. Oh, he's on
Corey's
it all
sweeping it.
the way. Ooh, boy.
Oh, close. Looks close.
Yep, they got it.
There's the hands go up. That's a win.
What a shot.
All right, Anderson and Dropkin grab, I think it was 3 to take 8-6 final. So they're into the final, playing against Peterman and Gallant on sheet 2. So they're playing against Peterman and Gallant.
And the final was supposed to be originally scheduled for 2 o'clock. I think that'd be a little unfair for Corey and Sarah at the moment. So I think they're going to give them about a half an hour. You can see Darren walking out on the ice, getting ready to scrape her down for the final. We'll be back in about a half an hour, so don't change that YouTube stream. We'll be hanging out here. Tristan, you down for another one?
We'll have to see. We might get on the road and get out of here, but
you're leaving me high and dry.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, what'd you say? 2:30, sheet 3. So we'll see you guys in a half hour. Peterman Gallant versus Anderson Dropkin.
That's right.